So we've learned about what hormones are, how they're classified, and how they work, being released from a secretory cell and reaching a target cell. There are three different methods that a hormone is released into the circulatory system ultimately, but how are they stimulated to be released? There's communication going on within our body in order to maintain homeostasis, and I'll talk about feedback, both positive and negative, in a later lecture. So how are hormones released? What promotes that stimulation? So the first type is nervous stimulation. Basically what this means is that the nervous system, a neuron fiber, is actually controlling that release. Here I see a nerve fiber leaving the nervous system, the central nervous system in this example, and I actually reach my endocrine gland here with that stimulation. And when the target cell and that endocrine gland is reached, the hormone will be released into the circulatory system. In this example, I actually have a sympathetic nervous system, as you guys will learn, is involved in the fight or flight response. And so it's released in times of stress, one of the conditions. And so that nervous system then targets a gland, such as the adrenal medulla, in order to release those stress hormones. To then promote various physiological reactions. Maybe it's increased heart rate, maybe it's going to be increasing our pupils so that we can see better. Multiple different things, multiple different hormones can be involved in this, but it's nervous stimulation that I wanted to show you that promotes that hormone release. The next type is actually called hormone stimulation. It's actually a hormone that causes a hormone to be released. This is the most common type of stimulation. Endocrine glands are actually the target for these hormones that are going to promote stimulation. These hormones that actually find another endocrine gland and promote secretion are called tropic hormones. So tropic hormones are not going to actually produce a direct physiological response from their targets, but they're going to promote other hormones to then get released and then have that physiological response, whatever that may be. There are many different examples for hormone stimulation. Here I want to show you, I have the hypothalamus, part of the brain, as you guys will learn, and I have a hormone being produced here. It's a tropic hormone because that hormone is going to communicate to another gland, say the anterior pituitary gland. Okay, so tropic hormone from here to produce and secrete a hormone. All right, so the anterior pituitary gland does that, but in addition, the anterior pituitary gland is actually another tropic hormone that is then going to go on to either target the thyroid gland, maybe it wants to stimulate thyroid hormone production and secretion, and then that will be an actual hormone and not a tropic hormone that's produced. Maybe the adrenal cortex, maybe the gonads, a testes for a sex hormone. So tropic hormone released to promote another tropic hormone released to then release a hormone to produce a physiological response. It doesn't have to be a two-step process. Sometimes it can just be a one-step process. Why this is the most common type? It seems quite complicated, right? Why not just have one thing promoting the stimulation? This is a very nice way for the body to control feedback, as I'm going to talk to you, because there are many steps along the way where you can cancel that message, cancel and inhibit or promote in case something does go awry in the body. Maybe a gland is damaged, maybe there are not enough hormones being produced for a certain reason. You can actually correct that using feedback that we'll talk about. So it's just a nice way for the body to control that. The last method on how hormones are released is called humoral stimulation. Humoral stimulation has to do with actual changes in levels in the human body. Maybe there's a promotion of ions and we want to control that. Maybe there's a low amount of nutrients in the blood and we want to control that. It just depends. So those levels promote the hormone release. So an example I have here is if we have a decreased blood calcium, we actually have PTH, which is called parathyroid hormone, being released from the parathyroid gland, as you guys will learn. And this guy is going to promote and increase calcium levels in the blood. I'll teach you how in a later lecture. So there's no nerve stimulation going on there. There's no tropic hormone that's giving it that message to be released. It's actually the calcium levels in the blood that promotes its release. This is called humoral stimulation.